always grow. How they see the influence, you know. Weekends, get it poppin' on the low. Better days coming for sure.
What's good, YouTube? It's your girl Jade, and welcome to our channel, Get Into the Black, talking about all things lifestyle and business. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how we moved from California to Puerto Rico and the three things that I learned while living here. So, before we get into that, I want to just go over some business right quick. We're going to be bringing you guys some more content. One of the things I want to start focusing on is really answering you guys' questions about our experience living here in Puerto Rico. Kind of, to our African Americans, our Black folks who are looking to move here to the island. I want to be able to answer any of you guys' questions that you have because it's a unique experience living here. And I know a lot of people think there's not like Black people who live here in Puerto Rico, or I should say African Americans, or anyone who like kind of identify with the diaspora, but there's a lot here. Not only do locals identify that way, but also too there is a lot of us who come from different places who for whatever reason are here in Puerto Rico within community with each other. So if you're thinking about moving out here, please make sure and you leave a comment in the comment section if you have any questions about Puerto Rico. And how about we do this too? The questions that we get that get the most likes, those are the ones that we're going to make sure that we pay attention to. So if you're somebody who sees a question, but you don't have a question yourself, but you see a question and you think, hey, that's important, I want to make sure that they see this question and I want to highlight it. Make sure that you like that comment. With that being said, we're going to get into the video. The first thing I learned when moving here to Puerto Rico is that me as an African American or Black American, I just do not identify with this identity of being a nationalist. It just does not, it is just not, I just can't wrap my brain around it. And I find it hard to be from a position of a minority and still have this nationalistic mindset and to think like, oh, this is my country. Because as someone from the US, as a Black American, I just never had that kind of identity. I am not patriotic. I believe my allegiance first is to the diaspora, the Black diaspora. It's to my community. It is most definitely not to my country, which probably is like a sign of being a traitor, but it's not like I want to overthrow the government. I just don't necessarily 100% agree with everything they do. And if I find it hard to be advocating against the government while also advocating for it. It just that's an existence that I just can't operate from. And it has been really hard for me to kind of transition and understand, to just wrap my brain around it. Like, I have moments of cognitive dissonance where I hear someone like, go home, gringo. And I'm like, you're broke. And you're not broke because of America. You're broke because this place is colonized. And I get it. You want it to be free, but in the sense when you call it Puerto Rico, that's colonization. Puerto Rico would not exist if it was not for colonization. So it's hard for me to understand how you're advocating for it while also saying that you dislike it. It comes off to me like you want to play the game, but only if you're winning. And for me, that just doesn't resonate with my soul. It just doesn't. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't think I ever will completely understand it. Another thing I learned here that's really different from back home and in my community, just how we come to understand life, is this idea that you are a now I want to use the word native. I don't really like using the word indigenous, but that you belong to one of these indigenous groups solely because of a DNA test. That's weird to me. Um, I always felt like culture and identity is something that you grew up in, not necessarily something you have to prove with a piece of paper. And I say that because I know there's a lot of people who are Native Americans, and particularly in the US, who should be getting tribal benefits, but they don't because they don't have the necessary paperwork. So it's just weird for me to use paperwork as a sense of identity to prove that you're part of this group. That's just never been my standards. I believe that if you didn't grow up in it, you're probably not part of that group of people. If someone can question your identity and your belonging to a group, it's probably not. It's probably because you're not in it. I know you can be disconnected from your roots. For example, clearly my people come from Africa at some point in time. I know what tribe I belong to, and I think this is probably why it really doesn't connect with me either. I know what tribe I belong to. I did the paperwork. I got the DNA test too. But in that sense, I was telling people one time, I was like, oh yeah, I'm from the Jola tribe. And that felt so weird. Because if I ever met somebody from Jolo, they'd be like, you know me. And I would be like, you know what, you're right, because I'm African American. We we've all been colonized in some form and sense, so disconnected from our roots. But I don't think a piece of paper is going to be the thing that reconnects us to our roots. I believe you have to do the actual work and go learn that culture. It's not good enough just to say I'm 12% this, especially too, because when those DNA tests are not really real. And when I say that they're not real, I mean they're not completely 100% accurate. They are based on the pool of people who take those tests. And that's why your numbers are constantly changing as more people take them. And the reason why they're not real is because they might find that you have a close association with a certain group of people, but that's only because another group of people have not participated in it. If you look, it always says people are freaking Nigeria from Nigeria or Yoruba. They're not. They're not. And I'm saying they're not because not everybody came from Europe. But yeah, a lot of us did, but you can't convince me that damn near everybody was Yoruba. You weren't. I'm sorry. It's just that Nigeria is highly colonized, so they are more likely to participate in those kind of DNA tests. So therefore, that test only has a small group of African people to pull from. So it's going to automatically associate you with those people because those are literally the only people they have in that general area. If you look at like 23andMe and a lot of them, they don't even have most, not majority, they have a very small percentage of African people participating in it. That's why when I did get my DNA test, I went to African ancestry. But even still, that to me, that's just a piece of paper to help me understand my lineage, to kind of understand why I may act the way I act, but no means am I planning to use that to say that I am these people. And I don't want to say that I am these people in order to belittle others' opinions or be able to engage in anti-black rhetoric by utilizing I too am in a minority, so it's okay. Like for example, I used to work at this job and I had this manager who every 2 seconds she would love to mention how she was Cuban. It was so awkward. Because I was like, what do you think that means, miss? You think it means you can't be anti-black? And I worked for a foster family agency. There's probably too many details right here, right? I worked for a foster family agency, and a lot of the birth parents, they would come to me and they're like, "Girl, who the hell is this?" I'll be like, "Yeah, because I work there, so I'm not trying to down talk her, and she's my manager. But I'm like, I know what you mean. I just walk here. I just walk here. I do what I do. I just walk here and mind my business. But I know what you're saying, and I peep game. And when I would bring it to her attention, she was like, well, like my grandmother's Cuban. Okay, let's address what we're talking about right now because your grandmother being Cuban does not mean you're not anti-black. And the fact that your grandmother fled Cuba at the time that she did is making me think that maybe you're not black. Do you identify as black? Because I'm looking at you. You don't look black. Not only do you not look black. Now let me stop. Let me stop because somebody left a comment the other day talking about maybe Puerto Ricans don't like me because I talk like a valley girl. I was like a valley girl. That's crazy. Um, I do definitely have a high pitched voice. And it's funny because growing up, my stepdad would say that to me as an insult. He's like, Valley girl. And I'm like, I talk like every other black girl around here. That's crazy. Um, and that leads me into my third thing I learned when living here is that you are a gringo even if you aren't white. And I take that as an insult. That's why if somebody call me a gringo, that's like calling me the N-word. We about to fight. That's what you telling me, you calling me a gringo, that means you want to fight. I had to tell somebody that the other day because people be on this interwebs thinking they can do and say anything and that you'll not do anything or that they can gaslight you. Like, if we're having a disagreement and you go and you put it on social media, where I'm from, that mean you want to fight. So we about to fight. As you can see, we in our description, I definitely changed that because I be getting spicy in the comments. Y'all be thinking it's yo. It's not yo, it's me. That's me. That's why you're gonna hear me more often on here because we can't really, we got two kids now. We got multiple businesses we are running and growing. It's just hard. It's hard to be able to find time for both of us to sit down together to be able to record. It was hard for us to even get dressed. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of our content now you're gonna see is more audio more than anything. Because it was just hard and I wanted to stop making excuses. But back to this, you are gringo, even if you aren't white. I had to talk to a lot of people to understand that because where I'm from, gringos were white people. That's who we call gringo. And if you called anybody else a gringo, again, that means you wanted to fight. You was trying to be funny. Like y'all know, we from Southern California, Long Beach. Yo, he from South Central LA. And we hang out a lot of Mexicans. What's good? What's good, Vato? We hang out with a lot of Mexicans. And like when they would tell us stories about their family calling them gringo, like that was an insult. That's like a slur. That's like calling me the N-word and you ain't supposed to be using it. Don't do that. Don't do that. We're not about to do that around here. So that was my hard thing, and I'm still dealing with that. We still might fight. You catch me on the right day at the wrong time. We might be fighting, babies and all. Cause y'all know I don't like that. I don't like that. But all in all, even with all of this, I still love being here in Puerto Rico. I have been able to accomplish things that I have not been able to accomplish being in the US. I know this is part of the US, but it still is separate entity. And I enjoy that it does have its individualism. I love the culture here, the fact that they are so family oriented. I feel like in the US and the States, it's so separatist. Like, even within families, people don't even want to work together. And you see how me and our businesses, we're growing and working those together. For us, that's just not something that connects with us. When people say, oh, you can't work with family or black owned businesses, this, that, those are just things and ideals that do not connect with our ethos. So being here is way better for us, even though it took me a while to get used to certain things. And I think there are some things that no matter what happens, I will just never be used to. Thank you, everyone who listened to this. Listen to my little podcast, but it's not a podcast. I promise you, it's not. Thank you all who sat here and listened to everything I had to say. If you would like to listen to Johanse's point of view when it comes to these three things, like what he learned while living here in Puerto Rico, let me know, and I'll have him sit down when he has some time to answer these questions. With that being said. Bye bye.